noticed some inconsistencies.
What are you getting at?
To me, it felt like a performance.
If you're not Esther, who are you?
When it comes to Orphan First Kill, tell us a bit about the plot.
The first one was such an iconic horror film, and in order to make a prequel that really kind of justifies its own existence, the script really had to come up with a very, I think, novel twist. I can't really speak too much about the plot without revealing that twist, so there's not much I can say except to, I assure everyone that it's pretty gonzo for a horror film. I mean, all horror films to some extent, to me, have an element of campiness about them, Of course, there are horror films that take themselves very seriously and are psychologically terrifying. The Exorcist, for instance, comes to mind.
The power of Christ compels you! The power of Christ compels you!
But then there are those horror films that understand that the genre, right, is, to some extent, it's about, as gory and violent and horrific as the events are, it's about having fun. In the same way that going on a roller coaster at the amusement park it's scary, but ultimately it's about fun. And I think Orphan First Kill definitely has been made in that spirit, and the plot most definitely is in that spirit.
And it's exactly like what you mentioned, the fact that there is such an amazing twist in the first Orphan, as well as in this movie. It has you on the edge of your seat the entire time, and your character played a pivotal role in this specific movie.
What is he doing here?
We found your daughter. She's alive.
I've played a lot of detectives. It's been kind of a go-to thing for me. It's my bread and butter. It has certainly sustained my career over the years. And so in that sense, it was right in my wheelhouse. And it was a big thrill for me to play a detective. I mean, Orphan is not really a franchise. There's only 2 films in it now. But insofar as the first one was so iconic, it was a thrill for me to be a part of that.
What was it like for you to work within this film?
It was actually a tremendously challenging shoot because it was shot in Winnipeg the first winter of the pandemic. So as you can imagine, everything was locked down. And I think about 10 days into the shoot, the province of Manitoba came in with new COVID regulations, which would have shut us down, except that there was a kind of grandfathered exception made for productions that were already in progress. So because of that, we were able to finish out the rest of the shoot. When you're on set, there's obviously a good camaraderie and kind of a community and a family that builds up, especially when you are so isolated. So that was a big pleasure.
I'm such a huge fan of your work, and you bring so much to each character that you play. When it comes to these specific films, let's talk about Orphan and then Orphan First Kill. Do you believe that horror fans should see Orphan first?
That's a good question, I'm assuming that a large part of the audience will be people who have seen the first film and love the first film, and obviously want to see what new twists Esther's character is going to have in this one. I don't think you need to have seen the first one in order to appreciate this one, insofar as it's a prequel.
That's the story of